Hi guys, this is Reddy. Welcome to the first episode of 0Dte Pulse. Today I will take you through how 0Dte trades went in Sensex. So today we opened, the Sensex is opened with a gap up of about 200 points compared to the Friday closing, and then it kept moving up by another 200 points. I think the first 1 minute it kind of tried to settle down. And in terms of straddle premium, so I've been observing the straddle premium for Sensex both on Friday and also yesterday. Literally I think there was no change in straddle premium overall if you look at the by end of the day. So both on Friday and yesterday I think the straddle premium was trading between somewhere between 900 to 1100, and I think yesterday straddle premium, Sensex straddle premium, ATM straddle premium closed around 1000 rupees. And today it opened with kind of 100 points. It opened at 900 and around 900 and then quickly dropped to 800. So in the first 1 minute, that is between 9:15 to 9:16, as Sensex first 1 minute candle was trying to consolidate after the gap up. So then what happened was, after from 9:16, so Sensex immediately took a U-turn, so it kept on falling. So let's look at the 5 minutes chart. So we are looking at the 5 minutes chart today. So what Sensex did is, it opened, it broke the yesterday's high and then kept going up, and from the second minute candle, that is from 9:16 onwards, there was a sharp fall and it kept falling from 775 levels to almost like a 282, which is almost like a 500 points within just 5 minutes. And especially the the 1 minute, that is from 9:16 to 9:17, was a big candle. As a result of that, the IVs started spiking up, and then as a result you could see that between 9:16 and 9:17, so there was a brutal IV spike of 350 points in no time. So because of that, what happens is, whatever the early trades, I do have some of the trades, some of the trades I enter are the aggressive ones, and some of them are kind of a conservative ones. So the aggressive trades, some of the aggressive trades which I entered at 9:16 with big stop loss and stop loss, be it as big stop loss and small stop loss, so they took a heavy beating in that fall from 9:16 to 9:20, because especially not because of the fall, mainly because of the IV spike of 350 points. It's like puts shot up like anything, they almost like a kind of doubled in no time, and there was not much decay on the call side. And because the fall was so sharp, and it resulted in heavy slippages and some SL jumps, you don't believe, some of my strategies which I entered at 9:16, there was a slippage of 180 points in one of my strategy, and other strategy also I've seen a slippage of 90 points. Slippages are kind of common, so we can't avoid the slippages. But in spite of whether you keep the SL in the broker, sometimes the SL gets jumped, and if you don't keep the SL in the broker, sometimes you get a huge slippage. But I think I'm used to slippages like 1%, 2% and all. But on days like this, this was a kind of a more than like unacceptable slippage. So with that, my aggressive strategies took a initial beating, and then my day started in the first 2 minutes itself. I think my overall portfolio went up to -0.5 or -0.6 strategies, and then my 9:17 entries, they entered on the spiked up premium. So I was happy that those strategies will be got the maximum premium. But then what happened was, Sensex kept on falling, so the fall did not stop. And I think at 9:16 the entries were, they entered into some kind of 81,700 straddles, but 9:17 were, I think it was 81,500 and 81,400. And then as the Sensex started going down, because the 9:17 entries got very good premium, I think they quickly got into almost like a those entries got into almost like more than 1% profit. As I was thinking that those are going to give a very good profit, but then there was this candle, so which broke the previous swing low with the IV spike. So first 5 minutes, the first 1 minute I premium shot up from 800 to 1150 levels, and from there it just within the next 10 minutes it fell down to almost like a 800 points. But then that's not the end of the story. So but from there the market started behaving as usual, like the way it has been behaving in the last 1 month. Okay, here from 924 onwards, again IV started spiking. So my positions, whatever the positions I had with the 81,600 or 500 straddles, so as this broke in, I think the puts shot up like anything. So as a result of that, so these strategies, whatever entered at 917 had to fall over and got into loss. So this increased the loss further, and then followed by increased the loss further because some of them took the the portfolio stop loss for that particular strategy, and some for some of the strategies only the put stop losses got hunted, and they fell over with the slippages. But the calls were there, but without much decay, as puts were only raising and calls were not falling. But then there was a dramatic V shape, right? And during this phase, so as usual straddle premium started going up again and then coming down and going up. So during this phase, all the when there was a nowadays reversal is fine, but when the reversal happens with a big move, big green candles and no time, so that is when we have a challenge. So in this move the calls they shot up like anything. So first puts were hunted, and in some of the cases both call and puts both were hunted, and the strategies got closed. But whatever the calls, they were left out in the system, so they have taken a big beating here. So with that, I think losses again mounted up to almost like a 1%. And then after that, I do have, so most of my aggressive strategies which I enter early in the morning to capture the theta decay, so they have surrendered. And in one of my account where I trade my predominantly my aggressive strategies, so it was like in 1 point. Let me just take you to that account. So this account, it was in first, I think 10-15 minutes itself, it got into like 2.6 lakhs loss. And then the other account, so my other account, so which is it was in I think almost like a 2 lakhs kind of a loss. But then what happened was from then there was a quick recovery. So this is what I was I know many people are talking about this manipulation and all. So if these moves, so we know that this kind of a big moves happens like when big pockets like DIS or FIs do a big purchase. But if that move happens and if this sustains and then probably when consolidates sometime and then moves in that direction, so then we can call it as like it's a real buying. But these days, many times you would have seen, especially in the last 1.5 month and sometime back last in the October and November, December also, we have seen these kind of a moves. So these are by big hedge fund institutions like probably like a Jane Street kind of a firms where they can push the prices in no time, and then immediately there is a reversal. So this particular price, it has taken over all the calls. And also what happened is, whatever the positions, my strategies entered between 9:30 and 10:30, so they took the beating in this down move. Okay, so if you could see this, this candle, big red candle, so this resulted in again spiking up input prices. And at 10:30 you can see another spike, around 10:30, another spike, right? And then that's how the market brutally went in the first 1 hour I think 1.5 hour. So then luckily we had a good premium. So even when this move happened, I think the premium was around 800 plus or something, and which is a very high compared to any other normal days. So on normal days around 10:30 in Sensex, you can hardly find, I think probably 300 rupees or 250 to 350 rupees range of a premium. And this is the place we had almost like 800 rupees premium. And then Sensex showed some kindness by getting into, it got into the range bound kind of, we can say choppy moves with probably 165 to 850, almost like it moved choppy in the range of, I think, 300 to 350 points. But as the premium was pretty high and there were no further IV spikes in this. When I say no IV spikes, there were no big IV spikes. So the few positions, whatever my strategies system entered, so those survived. But if you could see, there was no significant decay. Now if we go and look at the straddle chart, so once after 10:30 Sensex started settle down, so there was no big spike, and we saw some kind of a premium decay from almost like 850 900 levels to somewhere like 700 levels. And then as Sensex also turned choppy and consolidating, and straddle premium also consolidating. So but usually when there is a consolidation, so you can expect the further decay, especially when you have a premium like 700. So we can expect it to fall to like very rapidly to 700 600 500 levels, but that was not happened. So those who would have seen these kind of a behavior, that is, what I mean to say is the premium is holding up, it's not falling, though the underlying is consolidating. So that clearly indicates that market is premium is basically pricing some kind of a move, either on the upside or downside, big move. So the premium usually falls once that big move either plays out. Sometimes after that move, if there is another move, so there again there can be a spike, and we have seen that in the last few expiries. So but this was not holding, this was absolutely holding. That means there is no selling pressure at all on the premiums, right? So this story went up to 12:30, and as expected, as the premium was not falling, I was expecting either side move. Of course, during my entries between the kind of 10:30 to 12:20 or very light, very few positions, and I was holding some positions with kind of a sort of a light positions. And at 12:30, so finally the risk is played out. So at 12:45, I think around 12:50, so it broke the day's lows, and then once the day low is broke, the event is played out. So once the event is played out, if there was another further fall continuous or further sharp reversal, then IV would have potentially, I think it would have probably spiked. But then what happened is, Sensex absolutely cooled off for the rest of the day in a small range, and it was not like a kind of a choppy moves also. It is pure consolidation. Choppy is something like this, but this is this moved in a very small range very comfortably. And unlike recent expiries in the last 1 month, so there was a tremendous very dramatic decay happened in the straddle premium, and we have seen these kind of a decays, but in the last 4-5 expiries we saw that the decay happens by 200 points, and then immediately it comes back by 150 points, and again drops by 250 points, and then comes back by 150 points. It's like a underlying forming a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. But today Sensex showed a kind of a big mercy. There was a steady, absolutely very quiet and steady fall in the straddle premium till the end. So not even after 3 p.m. Okay, so that literally helped, and that literally helped all the afternoon entries to capture the steady decay. Every strategy, almost except few strategies, I think most of the strategies were able to capture the theta decay till the market got closed. And also this when this move happened 12:50, some of my counter strategies, when big move happens, those entered, and in fact some of those strategies which entered into, I think, 80,780 straddles. So those straddles actually they made a killing. So my account, so before this, I think before this move happened, so it was this particular account, it was in kind of 1,60,000 loss, and then during that fall, I think the loss jumped to 2,15,000 or 2,16,000. So but because of the steady decay later on, and the additional counter strikes which are entered after that, and also followed by all the the afternoon entries, so it was, honestly, I was not expecting such a big recovery today, given how the days are, the expiries are playing out in the last 1.5 month. So no drama, nothing later, and the account from minus 2 lakhs, it ended up with 3.28 lakhs profit, which is almost like a 5,28,000 plus from the lowest levels. Okay, and during this time, the other accounts, this account also. So it takes some of the afternoon entries. So not all. It's mainly meant for aggressive trades, which happens in the morning, and it was in a loss of almost like a 2.6. And this started taking some. Taking some trades from, I think, post 1 o'clock, and it was able to recover about, I think, 1 lakh loss. And my third account, which is a sort of small account compared to the other two accounts. So this was also it's a mixture of aggressive and also the afternoon entries. So this was also bleeding in the morning, but then so it I think it got into some of the good trades after 11 o'clock, and then those premiums helped till the end. So, and this was also, I think, kind of minus 40k to almost like a 1,10,000. So that's how the day went. I think one of the observation I just wanted to share it to you was, so this is the 5-minute chart we are looking at. In Sensex, in my experience, so in general, so whenever the underlying is consolidating in a daily chart, so then what happens is, so every day you will have a moves like, market may open in the morning, it may open high and it will be brought down, and the dip will be bought, and then it will go up. So in general, if the underlying is consolidating positionally in daily charts, so that is usually a tough time for intraday traders, because these kind of a moves, this kind of a consolidation in Sensex, Sensex or Nifty or any underlying in daily charts, so that will lead to mostly, except a few days, most of the days it may lead to V shapes or W shapes, and that's what has been happening in the last 1.5 month. And so these kind of, when the underlying is consolidating for such a long time in a small range in daily charts, what happens is it also adds up a pressure on the straddle premium, because there is a risk of breakout on the upside or breakdown on the downside. So premiums always try to price that. Okay, and because of that, IVs always fly, and you don't see a much kind of a decay. I think this is one important point I wanted to share that with you. Overall, I closed my day with around 2.74 lakhs, and which is which works out like almost around a 0.66% profit for the day. I think pretty much that's all for today. So if you have any queries, you can ask you can post your questions in the comments box, and I'll try and see how early I can answer your queries. With that, I'll see you in my next episode, which is on the day after tomorrow with Nifty 0Dte trading. Signing off, ready. Bye.